Hi friends, welcome back if you've been here before, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Mare. I live in the Las Vegas Valley, and this is my channel, SinCity_cross-stitcher, where I share all of my stitching that I've been up to for the past few weeks and occasionally some other crafty adventures. Thank you all so much for spending some of your day with me today. Today is today is Sunday. Boy, the weekend's flown by. Sunday, November 23rd, and this is Flosstube number 30. I hope everyone is doing well. It's been about a little over 3 weeks since my last video. I last filmed on Halloween. And I hope that you can hear me okay. I'm not using my microphone because I forgot to charge it, so hopefully you can hear me okay. I will try to talk louder. I know I tend to be my voice is a little quiet normally, so I'll try to talk louder. So I have a lot to share today. I have 3 FFOs, 1 start and finish, 1, 2, 3, about 5 whips, and a couple of starts, and then some a little bit of haul, not a whole lot, and a little bit of gifts that I received, some stitchy gifts that I received from some friends. So I'm just going to get right into it. FFOs. So this one was a whip in my last video. WIP stands for work in progress. So I was probably maybe halfway done with this in my last video, and then since then I finished it, fully finished it. This is Hocus Pocus. I forgot to look up who the designer was, but it was in the 2021 Just Cross Stitch Christmas magazine. I want to say it was from like the Nebby Needle or the Needle's Notion. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. I'll put it down in the notes below. But I stitched this on a 32 count Gray Magic Lugana by Bestitch Me. And this is my fully finished. And I think the frame worked out really, really well for it. I really love this. I've been wanting to stitch this one for like 4 years, and I finally got it done. So, Hocus Pocus. I need coffee to focus is what it says. Oh, I forgot to share. I do have one other crafty project that's not stitching related. I'm trying to do... I've got a whole bunch of kits that I've purchased over the years from thrift stores, and I'm trying to get them completed. Just various types of crafts. I have punch needle, I have some wool felts, and I keep hitting the table. Okay. But this one is a wood ornament, wood slice ornaments. This was a kit from Annie's, I guess, is it just called Annie's? Annie's Christmas Ornament Club. This is from 2021. I actually found this at an antique shop a couple of years ago. So basically it just came with these little wooden round things, and you painted it white, and then it had stencils so you could stencil the words on it. I mean, it came with everything that you need. It came with some like cording, and then you had to paint the beads and put the beads on. And so this is kind of a work in progress because I painted all of the wood things. I did just a couple of the words. I didn't do all I did some repeats. So I painted them, stenciled them. I did paint the beads, but unfortunately I let the beads dry on newspaper, and I didn't read the directions closely enough. It said to dry them on parchment paper, which is what I should have done, because when they dried and I took them off the newspaper, they had newspaper stuck on them, and like they have some of them, they're just I don't know, the paint just got clumpy, and they look terrible. So I need to go find more beads to put on them. But I started, so this is the string. I can't think of the name of what this jute, and then you string the beads on and tie it, and then you have an ornament. So I do need to find either already painted beads or more wood beads so that I can try to paint them again. Basically, it was like it came with a tube of paint. You squirted it into a cup, you added some water, and then you just dumped all the beads in there and swished it around, and then you took them out and let them dry. But the coverage just wasn't very good, and I did not dry it on parchment paper, so I'm going to have to do that next time. Or just hopefully find some that are already painted. But that's a quick little fun craft, and it will make good like good gifts for Christmas if that's what I decide to do. Okay, so back to the cross stitch. These last ones that I have are pieces that I finished stitching years ago, and they've been sitting in my drawer. The first ones, these are from Blackbird Designs, from their, I think it's a Christmas stocking book, and I stitched these in 2021, and they've been sitting in my drawer for 4 years because I had no idea how to fully finish into a stocking. I had tried years ago. I did try to find a tutorial about it, and I couldn't find anything. I do know that Karen, the Stitching Owl, I believe she has some tutorials on how to finish stockings. She did the 12 Days of Christmas stockings. I believe it was Annie B's folk art that came out a year or two ago. And I think she did some videos where she finished them, like she did a series of videos and she finished them in various different ways. But I ended up not even I didn't bother watching any videos. I just sort of tried to figure it out on my own last weekend, and they're not perfect, but this is what I came up with. So wait a minute. Here, this one is I think this was the first one I did. So I kind of cut the top. I cut it too close to the top, but I didn't even line it. I just put interfacing on the inside of the stitched piece, and then it's just one layer of fabric on the back. Because I didn't know if I was going to really actually use these to stick anything in it, so I didn't think it needed any lining. And I tried stuffing it with fiber fill, but I didn't like the way it looked. So they're empty. There's nothing in it, but it'll just hang on the tree like that. And then this was the next one I did. The most difficult part was the top. So like for this one, I sewed up the sides and then I turned the top down and tried to sew it, and that was really difficult. I think for this one, I sewed the tops down first and then sewed around it, and that was a lot easier. On this one, I did have to hand stitch the top because it was too thick for my machine. So, but there's that one. So I think that one came out cute. And they all have the same fabric on the back. And then this one, because these were I kind of cut it close to the top of the stitch, I left a little extra room at the top on this one. So this is the last one that I did. So yeah, they actually weren't bad at all. They weren't that difficult at all. The most difficult part was just stitching the top down. But I'm so happy that I finally, the reason I finally got motivated to do these is because the two tall stitchers, Carol and Jen, they have a hashtag going called Big Girl Pants Challenge, and the idea is to do something that you've been putting off for a really long time. And so I shared this in one or two videos ago, but I have a big stocking. It's called Hoot and a Boot. It's a Halloween theme that I finished a year or two ago, and again, that one is, I've been intimidated and nervous to try to figure out how to fully finish it, because I have not seen any video tutorials on how to finish that one, but there is written instructions. I have a tendency though I do better when I can actually watch somebody doing something instead of like reading through the directions. So, but now that I've done these, I feel a little more confident in doing the boot. So stay tuned. Hopefully that one is coming soon. And then my last FFO is another one. This is like, I stitched this pre-2020. This one has been in my drawer for a long time. This is, and it's very glary, but this is Nantucket. It's an Oberlin sampler pattern. They are no longer printed, but back in the day I used to stitch a lot of these and collected a lot of the patterns. Found them on eBay. But here, so this I framed myself. It's been sitting in my drawer for years and years. I have 3 others here that I'm going to show you that have been sitting in my drawer for years, because my plan was to have them all framed the same, and I have like a really narrow strip of wall in my living room. I've got like it's like an open window, and then at the top is a narrow bit of wall, and I was going to hang them all up there. But it's an odd shape, so I was never able to find any frames for them, so I was going to have them custom framed. But after having Quaker pumpkins framed, the one that I shared in my last video, after having that one framed, I was like, no, I'm just going to, it was, you know, it was kind of a bit of a debacle. So I decided I would just frame these myself. So this is a frame that I had in my stash. I purchased it at a thrift store, $8, and I think it fits perfectly in there. So I'm going to end up framing all of the other ones myself, but they're not going to be in matching frames, unfortunately. And they are all different sizes. Some of them are shorter, some of them are longer, because of the words. You know, some words are longer, some are shorter. But anyway, this one is Nantucket by Oberlin Samplers, and I don't know, there's so much glare. I'm sorry, it's really hard to show, but yeah. And this one I stitched, like, again, pre-2020. Okay. So I'm just going to share a couple of the other ones that I have stitched that I still need to FFO. I just need to find the right sized frame. And I don't think I've ever shown these before, but this one is Halloween. I dyed this fabric myself. So these are just, I just love these patterns. They're so fun. And this one is America. This is kind of in the process of being FFO'd. And then the last one is, this one is Witches. And this is on just a 14 count mint Aida. So those, I need to FFO those at someday when I find the right sized frame. And then I thought I would just share, like I said, I've been collecting these patterns for a long time, and with, you know, I've been meaning to stitch them, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But this one is Winter. This one is 4th of July. And some of these you can tell are really dated. Like the kids, they just look really dated. This one is Welcome. It's a banner. I have Arizona. I have Light. It's just somebody's note on there when I purchased it on eBay. Love this one, all the lighthouses. And of course, here we've got Nevada. And my birth state, Massachusetts. And New York. This is where my parents are from. And a lot of my family still lives in New York. Vermont, because who doesn't love Vermont? And then this one says Autumn. Some of these, I think if I ever do get around to doing them, I would change some of the colors, to update them, make them a little more modern. But here's Spring, Christmas, and I also have Summer, which has been kitted up for, like, again, since the pandemic or sooner. I have summer, but it's somewhere else. And I thought I had Virginia, because I did live in Virginia for a while, but maybe I never found that one. I must not have ever found that one. So anyway, those are all of my Oberlin sampler patterns. Okay, so then now we're going to move on to finishes. So these are items that I've finished stitching, but I have not FFO'd yet. And FFO is a fully finished object. So when you take something and you put it in a frame or make it into a pillow or whatever, so you can display it. So this one is called Tree of Wonder. This was just a spontaneous start. It wasn't planned. I was going through all of my bins and buckets of frames and finishing pieces, and I had found this frame that I really like, and I was like, well, what do I have that I can stitch and put in that frame? So I found this one in the most recent Just Cross Stitch Christmas magazine. It's called Tree of Wonder. It's by the Stitcherhood. And I stitched this over the past couple weeks. I actually just finished it yesterday at UFO Club, and I can explain what that is a little later. But so it's just 2 colors, and then this is all like negative space. The tree is the negative space. And this is on just a sparkly 14 count Ada. The only problem is, see if I can, it is a little too small for the frame. There's a lot of space around there, so I don't, and ignore this, just some sticker residue that I have to take off still, but I don't know, I wanted to get your opinions on how I should, what I should do. So I could do, someone had suggested just stitching another border all around it to kind of help it fill in the frame. I was also thinking, like, see those stars, that I could just stitch a couple of stars all around it. Or I could just not use this frame and maybe make it into an ornament. That's what they did for the model. They made it into an ornament. So that's an option. I mean, it is a decent ornament size. I could just make it into an ornament and find something else for this frame. Or I could go through my bins of finishing things and see if I have something else that I can use for it. And then just find another pattern for this frame. So I don't know, let me know what you would do. If you have any suggestions. I was also thinking it would be cool to put just like little beads in the center of the yellow stars or snowflakes or whatever that is. So that one was a nice easy stitch, and I just love the colors on it. So that was my only finish. Whips. Okay, I'm gonna move into whips. So this is Chubby Fox by Jeanette Douglas. I just worked on this one a little bit. I think since the last time I shared it, and I've got a mid-stitch here, so let me just hide this thread as best I can. Okay, so since the last time I shared it, I finished the fox, so I finished his head, and then I did all the vines and the flowers around it. Unfortunately, it's off by 1 stitch. That flower is supposed to be centered right over his head, and it's moved over by 1, but that's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. So yeah, that's where I am, and so I don't have a whole lot left. I got a bunch of stuff at the bottom, and then finish the leaves at the top. So it's a very small pattern. And this is just on a Bestitch Me 16 count scrap. I don't know the name of it. And I always share my bags. This one is just in this mesh bag that I stitched on last year. Oops, got like a thread on there. Let's see. My next whip is Pigeons in the Corn by Lindy Stitches. I bought this during her Harvest Moon hangout online retreat that she had in September. I don't think it was an exclusive. I'm sure you could probably still purchase it, but I'm not 100% sure about that. These are the flosses. So it is all of the called for. It's a mixture of Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, and DMC. I am stitching it on, let's see, this is, I think, Fox and Rabbit 32 count Inca linen. Okay, just had to get my board because I think it'll be easier to share this on the board. So I think last time I had not finished this bird. So since I pulled it out over the last couple of weeks, I filled in the rest of the bird, the border, this, and then I did all of this here. And I might have done a little bit more on this bird. So it's turning out to be a lot smaller than I thought because the pattern itself is big, but it's so cute. I love the colors. I love stitching on this one. I've actually really been enjoying stitching on my fall. Still stitching on my fall stitches, whips, and having really, I don't know, just having a good time and not wanting to put them away. I've really been kind of putting off the Christmas just because I'm enjoying stitching on the fall so much. It's in this bag that I made a little while ago. Let's see. My next whip is Shine On Harvest Moon by the Calico Confectionery. I started this one in September with Heather of the Mirror Image Stitcher and my friend Carla. She's Carla MC on Instagram. Again, here are all, I'm using all the called for colors, which is, it's all DMC. And I am stitching this one, let's see, it's on an Aida. It looks like a 20 count Aida. I have no tag, so I don't remember. Oh, here it is. It's Cedar River Linen Salt Ash. 20 count Aida. The called for is a 40 count. I've never stitched on 40 count before, so whenever a pattern calls for 40 count, I try to stitch it on a 20 count so that it'll end up being the same size. But this is where I'm at. So I finished all of the borders and everything inside, and then I started in on the tree. So this one has just been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this one. So all I have left to do is the insides, like the house and the moon and all of the grass. So this one, I would really love to be able to finish it this year, but I think it's time to put away the fall stitching and start focusing more on the Christmas, unfortunately. But this will hopefully be done next year. And then another fall whip. This is an older one I pulled out. This is Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. I started this one in 2022, so this is one of my oldest whips. And it was a stitch along with Anna from Anna Stitches Autumn, and she's not, she had a really cool Halloween Facebook group that it was so much fun. She had all kinds of challenges for us, and prizes, but she closed that down, and she's not really present on social media anymore, unfortunately. But it was a stitch along, and pretty much everybody else finished it except for me. But here's all the flosses. It's kind of a mess. It's all mostly called for DMC. It actually called for fancy floss, and at the time I really wasn't stitching much with fancy floss, so I think there is a DMC conversion for this chart. Yes, there's a DMC conversion, so that is what I am using. And I'm stitching it on this super old Zweigart Belfast linen in the color khaki, and it's a 32 count. I think my friend Amanda sent that to me. She's not a stitcher, but I think she found it at an estate sale or an antique shop or something and sent it to me. So this is where I am. So I got a lot done since the last time I shared it. Let me put this on the board. I don't know why I was not stitching on this one. Maybe it was the fabric, because this is one of my very first attempts at stitching on linen way back in 2022. So it could be I just didn't care to stitch on that fabric, but now I'm loving it. So I think last time so I started it in 2022, and then I barely ever, I don't even know if I pulled it out. Probably not until August. I just pulled it out this past August because Sheldon and Stitches was doing this as a stitch along for his birthday, so I pulled it out, I think, for one day and worked more on the house. And then I don't know why my computer is so wobbly today. It's driving me bonkers. I'm sure it's not fun to watch. I'm trying. So sorry about that. It's driving me nuts, so I know it must be driving you nuts. So I finished some rows of the house down here, and then this was half done, so I finished this, and then I put all of this in, all of this here. I already had the chimney and these two things in, but since this month I put all of this in. And I, again, had a really hard time putting this down this time. I'm just really, really enjoying it. The house is supposed to be a variegated thread, and the conversion was just, I believe it was just one DMC color, but I really liked the look of the variegation, so I was alternating between two different DMCs to try to get that variegated look. So yeah, that's Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Samplers. And again, this is going to have to go away until next year, because I do need to start focusing on Christmas, getting some of my Christmas whips from last year done, and I need to get stitching on some ornaments if I'm going to have any for gifts. But I don't know. At this point, I don't know if that's going to happen, but we shall see. This one is in this bag that I got from Garan Stitchery. They had a whole series of these state project bags. I have one that says Nevada, actually two that say Nevada, a bigger one and a small one. And then they had just a few left. I think they were having a sale or something, a clearance sale, I don't know. So I purchased this one. I have a sister who lives in New Hampshire, and you know, New Hampshire is in New England, where I'm from, so I really loved like the covered bridge and the maple syrup and all of the little motifs on it. I thought it was pretty. Okay, what else? What else? This is Temperature Quaker by Stitch and Mommy. Trying to find the cover photo. It's in black and white, but this is what it looks like. So all of these little motifs and things, that's going to be December. So that's going to be fun. But I have finished October and got a start on November. And here is where we are at. So let's see, this was October, and then this one is November. I write all of my temperatures. I use AccuWeather to pull temperatures, and I write them all down in this little notebook. So in October, the majority of the month was like low 80s. The coldest day in October was 70 degrees, and the hottest day was, we had a couple of days that were in the 90s, but for the most part it was low 80s, like 81, 82, 84, 86. And then November started out pretty much the same, low 80s. We had, well, so for November I only did through the 13th. So right here. So the days were mostly like low 80s, high 70s. It's been a really warm November, warmer than usual. And then this past week, starting like last Friday, it's been raining off and on and cloudy every single day. Today's the first sunny day that we've had in over a week, which is just so unusual for us to have that many rainy, cloudy days, but it was very much needed. And I think we're in the 60s now. We're going to be in the 60s, and then I think maybe by the end of next week we'll be in the 50s. So we are finally... a random thing of floss. I don't know where that came from. It's finally starting to actually feel like fall here. So maybe that's why I'm just not into the Christmas stitching yet, because it hasn't really felt like Christmas weather. Okay. My last whip, I did finally, so I went to UFO Club yesterday. UFO Club is, it's a stitch club at my local needlework shop, which is Silver State Stitch Shop in Boulder City, Nevada. It's owned by Jessica, and once a month she hosts UFO Club, and basically she's a quilter mainly, so I think that's where the term UFO came from. I think that's what quilters use if they have like an unfinished project. It's UFO. For stitchers, we call it, well, yeah, for stitchers, it's FFO. So basically, it's a club to encourage you to clean out your under-the-bed box. All of your pieces that you've finished stitching and haven't fully finished yet. So it encourages you to fully finish your objects. And then you bring those into the club, and she measures them, and then you get points. And then... at the end of a year, whoever has the most points gets a gift card to the store. But we all just also get to just sit and stitch all day long. So yesterday I was there, and Mary, who's one of the ladies that attends the UFO Club, had a whole ton of Christmas finishes. And I was like, oh man, I really need to start working on the Christmas stitching. So I pulled out Blue Coat Santa by Theresa Kogut. I purchased this last year at the Jingle Ball. It wasn't exclusive for the Jingle Ball last year, but it has now since been released to everybody. And I started stitching on this last year. This is I think it's a 20 count or an 18 count mystery fabric. And so I just pulled it out last night and got a little bit done. I outlined his arm and started filling it in. So not a whole lot, but a little bit of progress. And I want to finish this one this year. So this is going to be a whip for the rest of December. And that's in my Believe bag. This is a handcrafted by Harvey bag. She does the embroidery on the back. It's so pretty. I don't know what happened to my vinyl. It's got a little wonky. Probably got squished by other stuff, but okay. And then I had a couple of starts. I think that was all of my whips. So I have a couple of starts. The first one is Christmas Pears by Annie Beez. This is for the Jingle Ball. It's the one and only Jingle Ball class that I am so far signed up for. I love all of the patterns, but I know myself, and I would never stitch all of them. I would just, I just don't have the time, really. Well, it's not that I don't have the time, but I'm stitching on so many other things. So I thought I would just start with this one, and if I finish stitching it, then I would maybe do another one, like a PDF class. But I did really well on this one when it was like sunny, and I would go outside and stitch on my lunch break, but I haven't touched it since. So if you've been with me before, you know that my husband was furloughed during the shutdown, and of course the government has reopened. He finally went back to work, but when he was home, he was the one that was driving, doing the school chauffeuring, and so that freed up my lunches so that I was able to stitch on my lunch break again. But then that's when I did this one. It probably took me a week of lunch breaks to stitch this. But I got the first pair done, and then I started on the second pair right here. I bought the kit, so this is the kit fabric. I think it's a 36 count Aztec linen, and it came with Belsois silk, I believe. And I'm using one strand of floss over 2 linen threads. So I'm glad I at least got one done so that I can finish it in the class when she's teaching how to do it. But I would at least like to get one more done before then. So this is going to be a top priority over the next couple of weeks. And then this is my last start. This is Let Us Be Thankful by Bent Creek. These are all of the flosses. I'm using all the, well, no, I'm not using the called for. I only had one of the called for, which is Brick by Weeks Dye Works. So this one here. But all of the others are just threads that I pulled from my stash. But they are pretty close to the called for. I'm stitching this one on a 32 count linen. What is this linen? Oh, it's called Marbled Bunny, Belfast Linen by XJU Designs. And this is where I'm at. So I'm about halfway done. This has been really, really fun. So let me put this on the board. And I will put it side by side with the pattern so you can see. I did make a few changes. Let's see how I can do this. Okay, so my colors are pretty close to the pattern. The only thing I did was in the pattern you can see the leaves are all the same color, and I decided I wanted to make it a little more colorful, so I'm using some of the colors that were in the turkey to stitch different colored leaves. So yeah, this one is just been a lot of fun. Oh, and my turkey has a peg leg. I gotta finish his leg. I was stitching his legs in, let's see, it's a gentle art called Butter Crunch. It's very, very variegated. I don't know if you can see, like it's oranges, kind of in yellows. So I was fussy cutting it. So basically I was just cutting out like the really light yellow so that I could stitch his beak. And then I didn't bother to fussy cut it when I stitched the legs, and it turned out the way the variegation worked, the legs were 2 different colors. And I didn't really notice it. I'm just stitching along. And then my husband's like, why are the turkey legs 2 different colors? And I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, that does look a little weird, doesn't it? So I started ripping out one of the legs, and I need to go back and put in like I need to fussy cut it so that I can cut like more of the orange, so his other leg isn't like a light yellow. I need to make it more closer to the orange of the other leg. So I still need to do that. So he's just got a little peg leg right now, but yeah, I really love this one. This one's a lot of fun. And again, I think I might pull this one out again and work on it maybe on Thanksgiving Day, because I am halfway. All I have left is Thankful and the turkey. But even though this is not a lot of stitching, it did take me, I think I worked on this like all last week, Monday through Friday, and while watching TV, so I think that's why it doesn't look like a whole lot for a week's worth of stitching. But I think if I were to just sit down and really focus on it and not watch TV while stitching it, I could easily get the rest of it done in a day, and in a couple of days. That's all my stitching. And then I just wanted to share, this is the Pears pattern. This is what they look like. So I did the Joy, and now I'm working on, I don't know which one I'm working on now, actually. It's this one in the middle is the one that I'm working on now. So that is that. That is all of my whips and all of my starts. I'm just going to pause, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back now with my purchases, which is very minimal. I didn't purchase anything for about a month because my husband was out of work and not getting paid. And we weren't sure if he was going to get paid, if he was going to get back pay or anything, or if he was even going to go back to work. Thankfully, he did. But I didn't purchase anything for probably a month. But I did get my Christmas Just Cross Stitch magazine. I was getting a little concerned because everybody else had received theirs and I hadn't gotten mine yet, so I emailed them and they said that they were having some issues with shipping, I guess. They were behind or something, so they said, give it until November 15th. And I think I emailed them. It was a couple weeks ago now, and then I don't know, a couple days later it showed up in my mailbox. So I was very excited to get that. And this is where I stitched that one, Tree of Wonder. It is on page 41, and it's by the Stitcherhood, the one that I showed earlier. So this one right here. But there are a lot of cute ones in this magazine. I'm hoping to stitch a few more by Christmas. And then what else did I purchase? So I did go to when I went to UFO Club yesterday at Silver State Stitch Shop in Boulder City, Nevada. I did purchase a couple of things. So she has a few Pirate and Robin flosses, and I've never stitched with these before, so I purchased one of these. I thought that might be good for some Christmas stitching. The color is Watermelon. And I did get the a Primrose Cottage needle minder. And I purchased, okay, so if you've been with me for a while, you probably heard me gripe about 32 count and how I don't like stitching on 32 count because it's too tight. Well, several of my whips that I just showed are on 32 count. The Cinnamon Stars is on the 32 count linen, and I'm stitching on Marbled Bunny by XJU Design. That's the Let Us Be Thankful. That one is 32 count. And then the 32 count Inca by Fox and Rabbit that I'm stitching the pigeons and the corn on. So all of my, like a lot of the whips that I've been stitching on lately are all on 32 count, and I am loving it. So I think what it is the 32 count that I had experience with before was Be Stitch Me's 32 count Lugana, and I don't know if it's because it's a Lugana or it's just her dyeing process, but it's a lot tighter. The holes are a lot smaller, so I found it more difficult to stitch on with 2 strands of floss. But I have no issues stitching on those other linens with 2 strands of floss. So I don't know if it's like a linen versus Lugana issue, or if it's just the different dyeing, you know, process that they go through. But I do like 32 count linen. Who would have thunk it? But so I purchased this one from Jessica. It's called Mistletoe. It's by Atomic Ranch, 32 count linen. I think it's such a pretty color. I don't have anything in mind to stitch on it, but I do have a lot of neutrals, so I thought I would just pick up this color, and I don't know, it would be good for Christmas, maybe Christmas. So we'll see what I kit up in the next month or so, and if I can find a pattern to stitch on this, but I love it. And then every month for club, Jessica usually gives us some kind of freebie. One month it was we got like 25% off of one pattern, and this month she gave us this cute little plastic sleeve, so you can put your pattern in there and then put it in your stand when you're stitching, and it actually, you can write on this with erasable marker and like mark your spot, so that's really cool. And then she also gave us this freebie. So I guess she had placed an order with Annie the Proper Stitcher, and Annie had sent her some extra patterns. I don't know if it was on accident or on purpose, but sent her more than what she had ordered. So she was going to send them back, but Annie said, no, just keep them and, you know, give them out or whatever. So she had a couple of different designs, and I picked this one. And what's funny about this is when I was shopping at her store, I actually saw this and was really considering purchasing it, but I was like, I have so many Christmas patterns that I need to stitch already, so I didn't buy it. And then she ended up, right at the end of club, she brought over some of these and said, these are extras, you guys can take one if you want. So I grabbed that one. And that is it for purchases. And then I have a little bit of stitchy kindness. So my friend Barb, she doesn't have a Flosstube, but she's on Instagram. I'll put her Instagram below. But she, we did our quarterly swap, and I just got her box yesterday, and she stitched this for me. Isn't that cute? I don't know who the pattern, who the designer is. Actually, I think our requirement this quarter was to stitch something from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween issue, so this could be from that. I'll have to go check, but it's so cute. She made it into this little pillow. And then she also gave me this super cute little scissor fob. She said that Christy or Christy Hines from the Happiest Stitchers on Earth, she made this. It's so pretty. Came in this cute little candy cane bag. And then what else? Oh my gosh, this cute little, this is a needle minder. I have never seen a needle minder that tiny before. This is from oh, what did she say this was from? Like, I don't know. I will have to link her below. I want to say her name is like Leopard something. Excuse me, but so cute. This is a tiny little tomato pincushion needle minder. And then she also gave me some of these flosses. This is DMC 115, and I think that this one is being discontinued. So she sent some of those to me. And this cute little, I've never seen a tiny thread bed like this before, but this cute little tiny thread bed. And this cute little strawberry. She meant to send this one in the last package and forgot, so it's just a cute little strawberry charm you can put on pillows or something. So that was also so sweet. And then the handmade soap. So that's always fun to get her packages. Thank you, Barb. What else do I have in here? Oh, and then I got, oh my gosh, I'm so, sorry, computer keep hitting the table and it's driving me bonkers. I hope I don't have to refilm this. So Wendy, my friend Wendy, she's Wendy's Whimsical Stitches on Instagram and on Flosstube. I will link her below. She reached out to me and said that she had received some stitching things from somebody who was local who couldn't stitch anymore. And there was some Halloween things in there, and she's not a Halloween stitcher, so she knows that I love stitching Halloween. And so she sent me a package and passed these on to me. So this is Spooky Welcome leaflet by Stony Creek. Isn't that cool? Love that. Love that haunted house. And she passed on the fabric. This is 28 count Cassia linen. I don't know who the dyer is, but so pretty. And then it also came with the hanger. So you can see how it's finished on this bell pull hanger thing, and so she sent that along. So I cannot wait to start this one next Halloween. And then she also sent me some pretty Halloween backing fabrics, or I could make a project bag out of that too. And then some bells. So that'll be cute for a finishing, put those on a finishing piece. So thank you so much, Wendy. It was so kind and sweet of you to send those along, and they will definitely get used. And so that is it. That's it for Stitchy kindness and my purchases. For plans, I am going to start this chart. Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, her birthday is in December, and she loves to read. She loves books, as do I. So she is hosting a stitch along birthday book sale. Oh boy, I can't remember the exact name of it, but I will put it down below. But basically the idea is to stitch on something book related, book themed, and she's starting several, but this one, she's starting this one, and I actually already own this pattern, and I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. Love the colors. So I do plan on starting this one in December with her. I don't remember the exact date. I want to say it's like mid-December. But I started kitting it up. I think I had 2 of the colors already. So I need to kit it up with the rest. There's just a couple more fancy flosses. And then, well, maybe more than a couple, I guess. And then there's a few DMC. So, and there also is a DMC conversion. So I'll figure it out. I'll decide which ones I want to get the fancy floss for and which ones I will use the DMC for. And then I need to pick a fabric. So it's on a 36 count Hemingway by Needle and Flax. So I'm not sure what I'm going to stitch it on, but I got a little time to figure that out. So that's one of my plans. I want to finish the chubby box since it's so tiny. I should be able to finish that hopefully in just one more stitching session. And then I'm going to pull out some more. I'm going to continue on the Blue Coat Santa because I would like to get that one done this month. And I'm going to pull out my other Christmas cross-stitch whips. I'm not going to share them now because I'm pretty sure I shared them back in July. Because I think I pulled a few of them out for Christmas in July. So I'm not going to pull them out again now. But I'm going to work on some of those. And I'm hoping to get some ornaments started and finished. There's so many things I want to stitch and just not enough time. It's crazy. Yeah, I guess those are my plans. Can't think of anything else for December. I am hoping to film a whip parade end of December, beginning of January. We'll see. This is starting to, my busy time at work, it's starting to get busy, and it's going to continue to be busy until the end of February. So I don't know how much time I'm going to get. I know last January, I worked like 20 days in a row. It was insane. So I'm expecting it to be the same this year. So I don't know how much stitching time I'm going to get, but we shall see. A couple of floss tubers. I haven't mentioned any floss tubers in a while, but a couple that I have been watching that I've never mentioned here before is Jessica from Loomy Stitch. I started watching her recently, and she dyes her own fabric and she dyes her own floss, which is amazing. I've dyed my own fabric. I've never dyed my own floss, and I have attempted to dye some chenille trim. Didn't quite work out that great, but she did put out a video a couple of weeks ago on how to dye floss that I need to go back and watch. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, but go check out Jessica at Loomy Stitch. And I've also been watching Julie's stitching journey. I've actually been watching her since she started, so it's probably been about 2 years now. She did take almost a year off last year when she got married, but she stitches William Morris, and she just recently finished one, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm very, very tempted to buy one and stitch on it, but yeah, I don't need anything more to stitch, but they are beautiful. So I would definitely go check her out if if you wish. And then I have some regular Flosstube friends that I watch all the time that I will list down below. But if you're watching and you are a Flosstuber, please let me know and I can add you to my list down below. Yeah, I guess that is everything that I have to share with you today. So I just want to say thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. And I hope that if you celebrate, I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. It's just going to be the four of us here as usual. We don't travel over the holidays. We don't have any family nearby. Well, we have some family in California, but they do their own thing. So it's just going to be the four of us. I'm probably going to make a small turkey breast, do it in the crock pot. We did that a couple months ago, and it was really, really good. So I'll do that, and then, all the usual sides, mashed potatoes, and I've been on like this elimination diet because I've been having a lot of joint pain in my arms and in my hands. So I've been cutting out a whole bunch of foods. And then I'm going to start adding them back in to see what is causing the issues. But I'm trying to lose a little weight first before I start adding foods back in. But I think I'm going to take a pass on Thanksgiving Day because Thanksgiving is like my favorite meal. The mashed potatoes and the stuffing and the butternut squash, and it's all of it. I love it. The turkey. So I'm probably just going to take one day off so I can enjoy that, and then I'll get back to the diet. But yeah, so it's just going to be the four of us. I have 4 days off, and maybe we'll do some hiking. We'll put our Christmas decorations up usually the day after Thanksgiving, so we will probably do that also. So yeah, just I hope everyone has a safe and happy holiday. You don't have any travel issues if you celebrate. And I will see you all next month. Thank you for watching. Bye.